Welcome to our webinar on accelerating ISO 27001's compliance certification. ISO 27001 is a widely accepted and practiced standard in the industry for benchmarking the efficiency of an organization's overall attitude to security. Proliferation of information technology has been a boom for e-commerce, which is often being targeted by cybercriminals. So eventually, customers do look out for dealing with vendors who are serious about their information security posture, and so aligning to ISO 27001 standard and getting certified has become a standard practice to gain confidence with the customers and other vendors in your business. Today I have with me Mr. Dinakar, who is a veteran practitioner of ISMS for over 10 plus years of experience in various aspects of information security. So let's try to understand from Dinakar on how can organizations optimize their efforts and also if there's a chance of automation. Hello Dinakar, how are you today?
Hi Omar, I'm fine, thank you.
So Dinakar, in your experience, why we need to accelerate ISO 27000 standard implementation?
Well, with regards to ISO 27000 standard implementation, it is very obvious time is one of the major critical factor. Especially for small and mid-sized organizations, time to market the service and demonstrating the security practices around the services is one of the key challenges. Right? The earlier you market the service, better the recognition and acceptance. For most of the organizations, they do not have the liberty to take their own time to benchmark themselves to information security standards like ISO 27001. So they need to fast track their approach to information security practice and ensure all the services in the scope are complied with ISO 27001 in a shorter period of time. So just like any other business frontiers in security as well, automation is the key to reduce the manual efforts. So Paladion happens to have a solution named as RisqVU GRC, which can enable organizations to achieve ISO 27001 certification in a principled approach and reduce the time to get the certification.
Great. So tell us more about this product.
Well, RisqVU GRC is a Paladion homegrown solution. It's a very simple GRC solution focused on information security governance, risk, and compliance. So RisqVU GRC has 4 functional modules, namely Risk Manager module, Audit Manager module, Awareness module, and Enterprise Dashboard module, and one administration module to support the ISMS function in an organization. It has a very user-friendly GUI, graphical user interface, built-in workflows, risk repositories, and which helps organizations to kickstart the information security standard compliance program on the go. Yeah.
Well, that sounds exciting. You know, in my experience, it used to be difficult for us to explain the management about the importance of security. Hence, it was always challenging for us to buy in resources and investments. What's your take on this aspect?
Okay. Yes, buying the management attention is very important for any program to be successful. Information security is no exception to that. Well, information security is all about risk management, protecting the scope against information security risk. In other words, preventing the bad things from happening. Every organization does risk management in one or the other form. Example, safeguard of their buildings, people, business, and other high valued assets. So risk assessment is a very first step to a better security program. With a drastic growth on IT in every organization, risk has become more IT centric. So Also, performing asset-based risk assessment helps identifying the assets related risk, but there it has a disadvantage in this approach. The impact of the risk is not measured from the enterprise angle, and hence the importance of the particular risk of the organization level is uh, cannot be described in a comprehensive way. This will have subsequent negative effect in the risk communication and your risk response stages. So on the other hand, if you take an enterprise risk management approach, so risks are assessed from a business process perspective or a business service line perspective. So the risk associated to that, to those business processes or services, which has a direct link to the impact parameters like how much will be the revenue loss and how many customer base will be affected. So extra these things will give you a direct link towards the impact, and it will simplify your risk evaluation, communication, and response stages. So you'll be able to better demonstrate it to your management. On a comparative note, it will be easier to present it to your management at the enterprise level rather from an asset level. Other concept in ERM approach, benefits of ERM is you have key risk indicators, KRIs, that will help stakeholders to continuously monitor the risk and provide a dynamic view of the risk status. So these are some of the key advantages of having an ERM approach for information security as well.
So does this tool of yours, RisqVU GRC, can automate this ERM-based approach?
Absolutely, yeah. I think probably I'll quickly show a quick demo of what are the features, risk management related features that in the tool that will give you a better idea. Hope you are able to see my screen. Everyone is able to see my screen. You could see here, this is the home page of RisqVU GRC Risk Manager module. So we have this dashboard, and you can add risk in this risk page, and you can create your own scope and then add your scope of your risk assessment and then add a risk. So all you need to do is click add risk or populate it from the knowledge repository. You will have the option to add the risk. Upon you selecting the risk parameters, you'll get the option to see the inherent risk or residual risk or details. You can do an analysis on what is the impact, what is the likelihood, and the vulnerability related exploitation is parameter calculation, existing controls, your treatment controls. So all those options can be put in here, and here we have a customizable risk evaluation, risk decision, where you can define your own risk decision scales. And yeah. And also the tool is so flexible that you'll be able to add your own risk methodology. So you can go and customize it. So we have the administration module where you can define your organization specific methodologies for risk assessment. You can define what should be the scale for your risk assessments, like what is the impact rating scale, likelihood rating scales, what should be the formulas, how do you calculate the threat value, vulnerability values, inherent risk scores, um, and residual risk score calculation. So all those things you can define it here, and you can customize it to the organization needs. So the risk range, so you might measure it in a scale of 1 to 3, 1 to 5, 1 to 10, whatever you want, you can configure it in the tool. And you want to use an asset-based approach, you can do it. If you want to do a enterprise risk approach, you can still do that. Your risk decision, if you want to align to ISO 27001 trade transfer, tolerate, so those scales you can define it here. Or if you want to configure your own scale, you can do it here. And the type of risk, so information leakage related, or data theft, physical security, operational risk type, or to market risk. So all those things you can, all those risk types you can very much configure in the tool here. Yeah, and also we do have uh, knowledge repositories which will help you reduce the time in conducting a risk assessment, which has all these controls, vulnerabilities, threats, attack scenarios, risk mapping with threat and vulnerability. Everything is pre-mapped and it is available in the tool. Yeah.
Great, but what about the execution? Because that's what has been a challenge for us so far.
Yes. From the ISMS perspective, if the risk assessment is done flawlessly, other activities will be a smooth sailing. During risk assessment, a risk analyst should be able to identify risk related to the business process, services, by referring to the operating environment, past incidents, database, technical risk assessment solutions, or your penetration testings, vulnerability assessment tools. So if the automation solution that can take care of this, then 80% of RA is through. In RisqVU GRC, there is a huge risk repository. I mean, I was telling that shortly, short while back. We have a list of threats, vulnerabilities, control standards, and mapping of those control standards to ISO 27001. So all these informations are pre-built into the tool and it is available. When you have all these things, you don't have to develop your risk repository from scratch. Rather, you can rely on top of this, and you'll be able to add a risk based on this mapping. And also, we have the option to import risk from an incident. You can identify what are the uh, incidents you have. So what is the risk imposed by those incidents in the past? So you can add those also as a risk. And also we do have integration options with technical risk assessment tools like secure configuration managers, a family of RisqVU brand. So all these options are available in the tool. So you can do a process risk assessment, you can do a technical risk assessment, and you can add risk based on incidents as well. I'll just quickly show you all those three options. In the risk module, you could see here we have this populate risk option. So from here, you'll be able to quickly add a risk for risk for your clusters, that is otherwise called as scopes. So using this populate risk option, you'll be able to add risk, and from an incident analysis, you can do an incident analysis and add a risk to that. And also we do have option to integrate with technical risk assessment tools like secure configuration managers to you can import incidents and then add a risk from here, and all this risk will be shown, can be viewed from a risk register perspective, where you'll be able to list down all the risk that you have added, and also you can view it from a risk heat map perspective. So you click on that particular cells, you'll be able to see the list of risk related to that.
Okay, that's all very exciting, and a couple of things are pretty much useful as it seems. For example, heat map and stuff. But we have been listening about this new clause of risk communication. So what is the fuss here?
Well, risk communication is more of exchange of information and opinions about those responsible for assessing, minimizing, and regulating risk, and those who may be affected by the outcomes of the risk. So the information exchange between all these stakeholders is what all about risk communication. Whenever a risk is identified, a risk decision is made, or a risk is treated, or a risk KRA thresholds are breached, the process involved in exchanging information regarding all these activities is called as risk communication. An automation tool should always enable this communication by sending automated email triggers to all the risk stakeholders. RisqVU GRC has inbuilt workflows that takes care of the risk communication. So our customers will get the option to configure their own risk workflows, and using that they'll be able to communicate the risk and its related happenings. So you have the option to create your own risk workflows. You can set whenever a threshold breach or a particular value, the risk impact value changes from high to very high, notify people. Like this, you can create workflows that will automate your risk communication process. Based on the events happening, the tool will identify what is the current risk KRI status. If it is breaching the maximum threshold, it will send out a notification to users. Or in case if the treatment associated to that particular risk is closed, the action item is closed, this tool will send out a notification to the users. This way, the tool will enable people to have a better communication on the risk status. Okay, and also we can use a risk heat map feature also to better communicate the current status of the risk in an effective way to the risk management. You know, as per the saying, a picture speaks 1,000 words. The best way of communicating the risk management would be to develop a risk dashboard and risk heat map. And we have in RisqVU, we have a enterprise dashboard module, which can dynamically give an information on what is the current risk status for the business unit, location, or your business process. I'll just quickly show you on the enterprise dashboard. Yeah. So in the enterprise dashboard, the risk interpreted from a business level will be shown in a graphical format using charts. So you can do a drill down from your top level to your bottommost asset level. So here I have a risk for the locations. If I want to find what are the risk in New Jersey, I can click on that. Then what are the departments in New Jersey? So what are the risks related to those departments will be displayed. Further, you drill down what are those business processes or IT processes related to that particular department that will be displayed here. And further, you drill down what are the assets associated to those particular risks that also will be given. So further you click on that, that particular risk will be displayed to the user. So this way you'll be better able to face any kind of questions from the management and present it in a better way. So if they want to see it from a business unit perspective, location perspective, department perspective, or business process perspective, or from an asset perspective, anyway you'll be able to, the tool will help you to demonstrate it to the management.
Okay, but apart from this operational parameters, ISMS do demand certain set of policies and procedures to be drafted and in place. So can your tool help us in that as well?
Of course, yes. From an ISMS perspective, definitely you have to document all your activities, right from policy creation till all the creating evidences for all the activities that have been performed as part of ISMS. So we do have information security policies and procedures repository in the tool. Right? So information security policy creation, revision, or communication of that particular information security policies is one of the key activity in ISO 27000 compliance. So whether you go for a new certification or you are doing a surveillance, you have to revise your information security policies. You know, so to ease this process, Paladion awareness module has pre-built-in policies in the tool. Customers can take those policy templates and then customize it to their requirements, and also communicate it to the users, circulate it to them, and communicate about the changes to the policies. You see, the awareness module has policy templates with for all those well-known policies, covering all the 14 domains of ISO 27000 and 2013, and these policies can be communicated to the users as well. And also, apart from information security policies, we do have training courses. So this is one of the key aspects in information security. So people are one of the challenging barriers in RisqVU security. If no matter what, whatever training, whatever initiatives you do, if the people are not aware of security, then there is no point in the technology getting materialized. So you need to continuously train people on information security and the security trends. You have to keep them aware of the security trends. So in this way, Paladion's RisqVU GRC awareness module has inbuilt information security courses that covers an entire range of courses for end users like desktop security, email security, mobile, information leakage, incident detection, and reporting. So likewise, there are a few inbuilt security courses are available in the tool. So these will help users to continuously give information security training to their end users, thus keep everybody on the toes of security awareness. Your users will have the option to conduct trainings, can include users to the training, what are the courses has to be assigned, all those things you can define it here. What is the end date for the course completion? So all those things can be done from this awareness module. Can go add users. So users will be able to take their training from the home page. So the training will look something like this. These are more of an interactive training session where users will be asked questions at the end of the assessment question will be presented to them at the end of the training. You will be able to evaluate what they have learned and what is their awareness level. Yeah, thus our tool can help templatize your policies and conduct security awareness, which is some of the key challenges in terms of implementing ISO 27001.
Okay, that's great. Another question which comes to my mind is how about this statement of applicability generation? Because I guess from 2005 to 2013, that was one of the key changes, and a lot of organizations found it difficult to relate their statement of applicability to the ongoing risk assessment. So can your tool help us with that?
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, so when it comes to statement of applicability, so how it has been developed is your risk assessment and your gap assessment becomes the base. So whatever you are doing in your risk assessment should cover all those applicable controls for your organization. So that becomes a primary input for preparing a statement of applicability. So having known this, Paladion has developed a compliance dashboard which will show your statement of applicability based on the risk assessment you have done. In the risk manager module, we do have an option compliance dashboard where users can go and view their statement of applicability in a graphic, in a chart format, and also they can download the same in a Excel sheet report. So here you could see the graph that shows how many controls are compliant and how many are non-compliant and how many are exempted. So this is nothing but a graphical representation of your statement of applicability. So how this data comes in, it is automated. So the algorithm that we have taken, it continuously pulls data from the risk assessment. If you have identified a risk related to unavailability of data and you have given information backup as a control 12.3.1, then automatically the system comes and marks that particular control as applicable. So if a control is referred in a risk assessment, it becomes compliant automatically, included in your SOA, and if a control is not referred anywhere in your risk assessment, it will be marked as not compliant. And also you have the option to manually go and change that and then say this control is exempted or this control is really not applicable, right? So this way, this graphical representation of your SOA will help organization to find where they are currently now, whether the risk assessment is complete, whether your risk assessment is complementing the statement of applicability, all the controls applicable. So they don't have to spend the time analyzing whether the risk assessment is good enough, whether it covers all the risk or all the controls has been assessed. They don't have to worry about that. The tool takes care of it. So this helps you covers a lot, cover for a lot of time that is spent in doing a risk assessment and developing an SOA, because you will have various departments within your organization. First, you need to identify what are the controls applies for each of those organizations, then consolidate it, and then compare it with your risk assessment, whether your risk assessment has covered all these things. You don't have to worry about all these first. All you need to do is simply concentrate on your risk assessment. The tool will take care of the statement of applicability with why this particular control is applicable and what is the risk related to that. And if you have manually went and exempted it, it will show you the justification as well. I think this is one of the very unique features that our tool offers, which will help organization to develop a statement of applicability. And also the tool shows what are the risks in each of those control domains. So which is that particular control domain you are weak in, or which you are strong, which is your strength, which is your weakness, you'll be able to get to know from this particular dashboard.
Great. That looks all very exciting. And thank you so much for joining us today, Dinakar. I'm pretty sure organizations cannot underestimate the importance of automation, and RisqVU GRC indeed looks a promising tool in that. With that, we would end our discussion, and let me ask the audience if they have any questions.
Thank you, Manath. Yeah, we can wait for the audience questions.
Okay, I guess there is not much of audience questions now, but we would be glad to get any feedback or any other questions or queries. If you have, just feel free to share with us online. With that, we'd end our webinar here today. Thank you so much for joining, and hope to see you again. Thanks.
Thanks, Amar. Thanks, everyone.